is a well-known scholar. At this point, I would want to call on the chairman of the occasion, Dr. Moshood Lanremotayo. I think I would just want to say at a point in time, he was also the president of the Lagos State University Medical Students Association. So, Dr. Motayo, can you give us the opening prayer and the welcome address?
Thank you very much, my brother. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ به من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهدي الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد بن عبد الله عبده ورسوله فأيتها الإخوة الكريمة دونكم من تحية طيبة صالحة قائلا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. It gives me a lot of pleasure to welcome us to this very interesting conversation. And for those of us who've been keenly following this series, so this is the series of lecture that's been organized by the Lagos State University Muslim Engineering Alumni and the Lagos State University College of Medicine Muslim Alumni. And the focus of this series of conversations has been to really help us to understand some of the key issues, thorny issues that face people who are not just professionals in our world of today, but are also Muslim and really care about maintaining those two dimensions of their identity. And, you know, I would argue that of all the topics that we've had so far, and the topics that I see in this list, the particular topic that we have for today really exemplifies the core of the issue that faces many people who are trying to really maintain these two dimensions of their identity. And that's the issue of how do we, how do we get to the cutting edge, push the barriers of our discipline, maintain our spiritual identity, but at the same time be able to keep a home that's not dysfunctional. Like one of my mentors would often say, when you see a professional who's doing well in his field, pushing the boundaries in his profession, at the same time is doing well in his spiritual life, always look back at the home. There's always someone who's able to work with him or her back at home to ensure that they're having a functional home. And when there's dysfunctionality in that home setting, you can always be sure that you would see the fallout in the professional lives of the people who live in that home, as well as in their spiritual lives. Therefore, as Muslims, as professionals, as people who are raising families, being able to understand how to balance the demands of each of these aspects of our lives and dimensions of our identity, it's really important and core to being able to make success in any of these areas. And I would tell you that, I congratulate the organizers of this event because I don't know of, I don't think I know of any other one who's more qualified in terms of their professional background, in terms of experience, to talk about this topic than the speaker for today. I will leave introduction of the speaker of today to the moderator, but this is someone I've known for decades, and right from the days when, he was a classroom teacher in Akoko High School, and I was just rounding up my high school education back in Bariga. So I want to use this opportunity to welcome every one of us, to congratulate the organizers of this event for putting together such a conversation that promised to be very interesting, educative, and informative for those of us who are here. I also want to welcome and thank every one of you who's on board right now and who's going to come along to participate, to be part of this conversation as part of the audience. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm not sure. Did you make the opening dua?
Al-Fatiha.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka
إياك
na'budu wa
نعبد
iyyaka
وإياك نستعين
nasta'in.
اهدنا
اهدنا
الصراط
الصراط
المستقيم
المستقيم
صراط
صراط
الذين
الذين
أنعمت
أنعمت
عليهم
عليهم
غير
غير
المغضوب
المغضوب
عليهم ولا
عليهم ولا الضالين.
الضالين. Amen.
آمين.
May Allah make it a productive session for us and may He count it for us as an act of ibadah and evidence for us here on earth and in the hereafter and not evidence against us. Amen. Jazakumullah
Amen.
khair.
Now, thank you very much, Dr. Omotayo, for that opening introduction to this program for today. Yeah, so I would want to, at this point, just go on so that we just keep on moving. I would want to call on Dr. Abdul Wahab Begberunbe, who is an alumni of the Lagos State University College of Medicine, to give us the short recitation from the glorious Quran. So he's going to be giving both the Arabic and the English recitations. Dr. Abdul Wahab, you have the floor now. Please unmute your mic. Dr. Abraham, I can't hear you. Dr. Abraham, Dr. Abraham, I think he's having some technical problems over there. Um, we'll give him some few seconds to get get himself together before we would see if we can move on to something else. If he's having problems with his connection, okay, yes, he's back now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's much better now.
Dr. Usman.
Carry on, carry on.
Okay. I'll be learning Shaitan Rahim. So inshallah, I'll be reciting from Surah Al-Tahrim, that's Quran 66, verses 10 to 12. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ضرب الله مثلا للذين كفروا امرأة نوح وامرأة لوط كانتا تحت عبدين من عبادنا صالحين فخانتاهما فلم يغنيا عنهما من الله شيئا وقيل ادخلا النار مع الداخلين. وضرب الله مثلا للذين آمنوا امرأة فرعون إذ قالت رب ابن لي عندك بيتا في الجنة إذ قالت رب ابن لي عندك بيتا في الجنة ونجني من فرعون وعمله ونجني من القوم الظالمين ومريم ابنة عمران التي أحصنت فرجها فنفخنا فيه من روحنا وصدقت بكلمات ربها وكتبه وكانت من القانتين صدق الله العظيم. Now, in the verse 11, verse 10, Allah set forth an example to those who disbelieve, the wife of Nuh and the wife both under two of our righteous servants, but they acted treacherously towards them, so they availed them not against Allah, and fire with those who enter. And Allah set forth an example of those who believe, the wife of Pharaoh, when she said, "My Lord, build for me a house with thee in the garden, and deliver me from Pharaoh and his wrong and his doing, and deliver me from the unjust people." And Maryam, the daughter of Imran, who guarded her chastity. So we breathed into her of our inspiration, and she accepted the truth of the words of our Lord and his books, and she was of the obedient ones. Sadaqallahu al-Azim.
Jazakumullah khairan, Dr. Egberungi, for that inspiring recitation from the Quran. And we would see that this has set up set up what we'll be discussing today. We would be going on to can you please mute your mic at this point? Just 1 second. I've got some children trying to be part of this program as well. Before we go on, I would just want to introduce other people who are participating on this program. So we have a list of other facilitators. We have the rapporteurs who are Ustaz Ismail Besson and Haji Zainab Mabudu, who would be giving us summaries and salient points from the lectures we'll be having today. If they are here, can they just say Teslim to the house? Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As well, we would also be having Dr. JJ Jamal and Ustaz Said Qasim, who will be giving us the health and technology tips once we get to that point. I would also want to recognize the tech support. We have Prince Muidin Bakari, Ustaz Elias Drosimi, and Engineer Abari, who are working behind the scenes just to make sure everything is working perfectly as we are seeing it at the moment. We also have our sponsors for today's program, who are the AGP MPN, that's the Association of General Medical and Private Practitioners, Lagos State Chapter. They've been sponsoring this program, and we want to thank them very much for sponsoring us. I would then go on at this point to introduce our guest speaker for today. Our guest speaker for today is Ustaz Sulaiman Olagoke Ogumuyiwa. He is a deputy director in the Office of Education Quality Assurance in the Ministry of Education of Lagos State. He's also a consultant and trainer in education and counseling, and is the lead counselor with M Solution Consulting International Limited. For those of us who know M Solutions Consulting, they are a counseling firm. They do more of a marriage counseling, and you would have seen Ustaz Ogumuyiwa on different fora talking to people about marriage counseling and how to make marriages and homes work very well. So he's someone who is very well um, very well qualified in this aspect. He has a bachelor's degree in guidance and counseling and a master's degree in both guidance and counseling and education administration from the University of Lagos. He is currently winding up his PhD program at the University of Abuja. He is the chairman, incorporated trustees of the First Class Muslim Foundation and the chairman, New Crescent International Travels and Tours. He is the founding president of Complete Trust Cooperative Multipurpose Society, which is an interest-free institution. At this point, I would want to welcome our distinguished Ustaz, Ustaz Sulaiman Ogunmuyiwa, who will be taking us through the topic of today. Ustaz, can you please unmute your mic? If you would want to share your screen, please let us know. You have 40 minutes to speak to us.
Thank you very much. I feel highly honored to be invited into your midst and share some of my thoughts on the issues that is at stake for us. Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it. Can you make it full screen if that's okay for you?
All right. That's fine.
Okay, yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. Indeed, all praises and adorations are due to none but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the heavens and the earth, and what is contained in between the two. We bear witness that Allah Azza wa Jalla is one, is entirety. We want to bear witness that it is only Allah that is in charge of our sustenance and our family. I also bear witness that Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a servant, a messenger, and a prophet of Allah. May Allah continue to bless him, his household, his companions, and all of us, and the generation of Muslims until the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. I want to thank the, I think it's Lasu Mega and the Lima LMA for extending the invite to me. I want to particularly thank Mr. Majolagbe, who has been following me up. I pray Allah Azza wa Jalla will continue to be with all of you. It is indeed a delight for me to be here. Even before I start to talk, I must tell you that I have benefited from this topic, even while preparing for it. I'm also somebody that is very busy, and coincidentally, I'm also a marriage counselor. So while preparing my slides, I was able to see some of the gaps, and I promise to make amends. So this is what I also expect from all of us, no matter how small it may be. Admonition ourselves, sharing the remembrance of Allah is one of the things that is encouraged, and it is definitely going to be beneficial to us if indeed we are Muslims. Okay. The topic has been treated a little bit. The topic given to me is work, life, and marriage balance. Okay, I try to change it to work life and family balance. Okay, so beyond marriage is a family. And this is something that everybody is actually involved, everybody is affected here. Because we all have lives to live, we always try to put a family together. Okay, so to many people, when you talk about work-life balance, it is something that is sweet, but it's something that people see as just as an idea, that it doesn't work. You don't really know how to fix it up because you realize that schedule will always come up, and every time you seem to be a bit muddy or muddled up in whatever you are doing. Okay, so it's something that it is seen as elusive. It's not something you can actually achieve. And despite the several efforts of companies to, implement work-life balance in the life of their employees, you still find them struggling and trying to see how they can maintain a balance or have a meaningful way, have an effective way in their life. So studies today have shown that companies are not able to help their employees in actually maintaining a work-life balance, especially with regards to family, because a lot of people don't feel free to discuss their family issues at work, and some don't also discuss their work issues at home. Okay, so, but as Muslims, Allah told us in Surah Al-Mulk, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتِ وَالْحَيَاةِ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْغَفُورُ. Sadaqallah al-Azim. Allah said, it is He who has created you. He has created death and life in order that He may test you, meaning that your life, whether it is work, whether it is family, whichever way you say it, is a test from Allah. So Allah wants to see liyabluwakum ayyukum ahsanu amalan, which of you is going to, try as much as possible to, balance up or be the best in every area you are find yourself. You want to try and be the best at work. You want to try and be the best in the family. You want to try and be the best with your friends. Allah said it's a test for you, and we want to see which of you is going to excel the other in terms of extending good deeds in these areas. And also in Surah Al-Nahl, Allah told us that man amila salihan min dhakari wa untha wa huwa al-mu'min, that whoever does good amongst you, whether it's a male or a female, as long as that person is a believer, we will surely bless that person hayat al-tayyiban, with a life that is good. And we will certainly reward them hajiran bihasanin ma kanu ya'lamun. It will also, give them reward according to how best they have been able to live their life. So all these are suggesting to us that we know it's not going to be very easy, but because we have the Almighty looking at us and trying to see how we are trying to make a balance in our life. Okay, so what does it mean to have a balance? It means to create a kind of harmony. A state where nothing is out of proportion, nothing is unduly emphasized at the expense of the other. And if you are able to actually maintain this, if you're actually able to maintain this, you find out that you have an enhanced productivity at work, and also you have a high commitment to Islam, to your family, to the society. There will be less conflicts, especially at home. When it has to be between you as a parent and your children, or you as a husband or as a wife and your spouse. Okay, so it also helps you to maintain a good relationship with your colleagues and friends and other, family members. At the end of the day, you feel more confident about your life, and you are definitely, happier. So as professionals, every day of our life, we try to do some juggles. We struggle to, be the best at work, maintain the peak of our career, and at the same time, we also want to have a successful home. So this life juggling act, according to Brand Dinson, the former CEO of Coca-Cola, it says between 5 things. That it's between your work, it's between family, it's between health, it's between friends, and it's between spirit, which is the spiritual life of anyone. Okay, so here we are going to be focusing more on work and family. Now, there are some things that people that we all know about work-life balance. It is difficult to achieve because there are certain challenges that are associated with it. The first one is that it is subjective. Subjective in the sense that for an executive who try to work about 50 or 60 hours per week, but makes it a point of duty to ensure that 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. is at home to have dinner with the family, such a person may be considered as, maintaining a good work-life balance. And that's subjective. In the same vein, if you look at the percentage of his devotion, we realize that he spends about 80% of his time at work and only 20% at home. Okay, so do we now say that is fair enough? So this is why it is subjective, and everybody will feel that what I'm doing, I think I'm balanced. Even though some will come home at 4 and feel unbalanced, another person will come home at 9 or 8 p.m. and still do things to make it balanced. So there's no rule that says this is the amount of time you have to spend at work, amount of time you have to spend with family. So it is subjective. Secondly, is that it is transient. It is not something that is fixed all through life. It changes with seasons and every stage of our life. You may be able to achieve some form of work-life balance when you were a child, or when you were a student in the primary school, or when you were in the college. Okay, so or maybe when you had you just got married, when it's just you and your wife and your work. Okay, and at times when you now have a large family, you now have extended families, or maybe you work at an organization where you are the head, or maybe you are subordinate. Okay, so work-life balance is not transient. There are some times you may be successful as a junior worker, you are able to maintain a work-life balance, and at another time, maybe because you become a supervisor or you become a CEO, you find it very difficult to now maintain a work-life balance. So this is what we mean by saying that it is transient. It's not something that is fixed. It's a journey all through life. The early stage of your career, you may be able to maintain it. What about the later stage of your life? Okay, so the third point here is that it is not measurable. And this question is there a metric or a scoring system to count the work-life balance continuum? So we don't even know what to use to measure it. Is it the number of hours you spend with your family, or you spend at work, or you spend with your personal self, or what? So what about the quality of the hours that you spend? How do you measure it? You go to work in the morning, your active hours. Okay, so you come to traffic, and by the time you get home, you're tired. Okay, so how do you still ensure that you spend quality time trying to relate? So how do we measure that? It's not measurable. And also, it seems that people emphasize work as larger than life. It seems work stands out because work seems to be the feeder for every other thing. Is when you have a work, you get money that you can spend on family, that you can set up a family, that you can take care of your health, that you can go to your Muslim organization and donate money. So people feel that work is larger. Okay, and once we, have this kind of a thinking, it's going to be very difficult for us to maintain a balance, because we want to believe that since work is larger than life, then we have to give everything that it takes to eat. Okay, but I say to you that if you have that perspective, a time will come when you get to the peak of the career, you get all the money that you want, but you realize that at the later time of your life, you are just lonely. And loneliness is one of the fastest, killing psychological issues at old age. So we need to ensure that there's a balance. So to implement this, we need to first identify the different roles that we play at different places, and see the kind of importance we may attach to it. And finally, is to be honest, it is very hard to plan for. It's something you have to keep struggling with all through life. Okay, so where do we now find the model to balance our life? And I'm going to take this from two places. The life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, and also the life of the companions. Prophet said, the best society is my society, then the generation succeeding them, and this generation succeeding them. So it means we have a lot to learn from those who came before us. And if you look at the life of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, when he was appointed as Caliph, the following day, he picked up his things and was going to his shop. We understand that he trades in clothing. And some people met him on the way and said, "Yeah, Khalif, where are you going to?" He said, "I'm going to work." He said, "No, how can you be working and be a leader over us? We have to find, a balance." And indeed, a balance was actually found in a way for him to be able to lead them successfully. So there are three lessons I want to pick from the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that I think is going to be good for us. I want to encourage us to go back and read one small book. I think it's a pamphlet like this. It talks about is it a day with the Rasul, or it's talking about how the Prophet spend his days or a day, and we can learn a lot from that. So when we observe the daily routine of the Prophet you cannot but realize that he lived a balanced and effective life. He came in, and just within 23 years, he changed the face of humanity. I don't think any one of us has a great task like the Prophet had, But I know people will come up and say, okay, does he have a job? Does he have to work 2-3 places? Things like that. But I don't think those are issues. What is important is that he has a goal in life. He was given a responsibility which can be considered as his work. He also has a means of livelihood. He, has a family to bring together. His family was far larger than the family any one of us would have. Okay, so, and we have lessons to pick from his life anyway. So let me say the first one is you need to scrap this concept of work-life balance in our head and start talking about a total life balance. A total life balance means that you want to cater for every details of your life. You're not going to sweep one under the carpet for another one. Okay, so the Prophet once had that one of his companions was fasting every day and spending all his nights in prayers. And the Prophet made it a point of duty to go and visit, this person. And when he went to visit him, he told him that, "I have been told that you stand, all night in prayers and you fast all day." And the companion confirmed that, "Yes, I do." Prophet said, "Don't do that. Sleep and stand in prayer." break fast and break your fast. In another hadith, Riwayah, he continued and said, for your eyes have a right over you, your body has a right over you, your body has a right over you, your wife has a right over you, your guests have a right over you, your friends have a right over you. So it means that everything has its own share in your life, and you have to try as much as possible to maintain this balance. One fascinating thing about this incident is that as busy as Muhammad Sallallahu was, he still find time to go and visit these companions just because he wants to give him an advice on what he wants to do. Ordinarily, everyone will expect that Prophet should be excited about this person who wants to fast all day and do salat throughout the night, because this is spiritual, and everybody feels that the moment you're able to excel in your spiritual life, then you are the best. So I said, no, you have to, have a total life balance. And he was able to go there and tell the guy. So one key lesson for us here is that instead of thinking of work-life balance in terms of what others expect from us, we should also think about total life balance, where we have to fulfill our rights to every aspect of endeavor that we have. And just like it has been explicitly mentioned in that hadith, our body, our mind, our families, our friends, and of course, our workplaces have their due rights over us. And once we are able to do this, have this total balanced approach, you will find out that you become very intuitive. You're not going to be rhythmical, and it's not going to be like a formula, it's not going to be like a mathematics. It's going to be something that comes to you as intuition, because you have responsibility to different things. And to implement this lesson, we need to first identify the different roles that we play as individuals in our lives. I have a responsibility to the cooperative, I have a responsibility to a foundation, I have a responsibility to my workplace, I have a responsibility to my family, I have a responsibility to my friends, and all these things, you try to list them out so that nothing is left out. Now, when you are able to do this successfully, then because we are Muslims, you now understand that you are a shepherd of your time, and you will be asked how you have been able to expend your time. In one hadith of Islam, he said, a man will stand at a point on the day of Yom Kiyama, and he will not leave that point until he has explained all the years, months, days, hours, minutes, seconds that he has expended on life, on hearts. So you now have to look at how do you allocate time to all these areas. Now, secondly, is that you have to be a shepherd in every role. You have to be a shepherd in every role. Now, when you have a role to play, don't let people prompt you before you play that role. And this is one of the cornerstone of the lessons that we learned from the Prophet, which he also taught to his companions. And in one hadith in Sunan Abu Dawud, he said, each of you is a shepherd. Each of you is responsible for his flock. Now, the Amir, who is, over the people, is a shepherd and is responsible for his flock. A man is a shepherd in charge of the inhabitant of his household, and is also responsible for his flocks. A woman is also a shepherd in charge of her husband's house and children, and she's responsible for them. And a man's slave is a shepherd in charge of his master's property, and is responsible for it. So at the end, he said, so each of you is a shepherd, and each of you is responsible for his flocks. So if you think of yourself as a shepherd, and that you have, role, you are not just to do a minimal thing to as a responsibility, or to what you shepherd over. You have to ensure that you do something that your mind will be at rest with on the day of Yom Kippur. And you can only achieve this by constantly nurturing, because this is what shepherds do. Shepherds will nurture, they will grow, and they will make sure that their flocks are thriving. So if it is work, make sure that you face your work, you nurture your work, you grow there, and you strive your best. If it is family, you do the same thing. If it is with your friends, you do the same thing. And this is something that is, that is key for every one of us. And for us to be productive in every aspect of our life, we need to do what is called a to-do list. It can be to do for a month, it can be to do for a year, it can be to do for every day, or it may be weekly to do, it may be daily to do. There must be something to do. So when you list out all the areas where you shepherd over, you now state what you need to do under these areas. And finally, which is the third advice, is that when you are present, make sure you are present, spending quality time. There is this hadith that is quite long, where Aisha radiallahu anha was telling the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about a discussion with about 11 women. And she got from the 11 women, how they perceive their husbands. And it is the last of the women that actually took my attention in that hadith. The last part of it referred to a woman called Zar. When Aisha asked her about her husband, all she said were positive things, and there was no single negative thing about Abu Zar. And Prophet now said, I am to you as Abu Zar was to his wife. Okay, so what this is telling us is about the quality of time that we spend with our family. Because the main point in this story is that the Abu Zar gives a lot of attention to Zar. When he listens to him, he listens well. When he has to support her, he supports her well in key areas of needs. And this is the reason why Zar will not have any complaint about Abu Zar. And this is exactly what Prophet also do. There is nothing he doesn't do at home. He helps them to mend clothes, he made them to grind pepper. He helps the family to do a lot of things, even if it is to tie the lace of their shoes. So these are very, very important things for us to ensure that we maintain. Spending quality time, I think I'll still come to a slide that will talk about it. Okay, so it is very key. If you look at an example of a life of somebody who, of an individual whose life is not balanced, is such a father, who habitually gob down his dinner and is out of the table to bed. The moment he finishes his food, he goes to sleep. He spends a lot of hours away from his family, either going to work or going for one program, and doing one event or the other. And when he comes home, he's on the phone talking to one person or another again. And after that, he eats and he just go to bed. This kind of a person is living an imbalanced life. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of us, we do well at work, We do well in our masjid, we do well in our organizations, but we put behind our family life, our marriage life, we really get it. And we don't really give, the most of our effort. And this is very, very key. Okay, so I'm going to give some advice on how we can maintain a work-life balance and some skills that we need to actually acquire. Number one is the ball. That is, set your priorities right. You should be able to know when your marriage is suffering, when your family is not getting your attention, and when it is necessary for you to make them your priority, make them your priority. Now, something will always take a priority at different points in time. So as you try to juggle on daily, on weekly, or monthly basis, always know where the priority usually lies. For example, if you work Monday to Friday and you already have a date with your family that you have to take your family out on a Saturday, and this is something you have agreed to about a month or two ahead, and your boss in the office now beckon on you to come on that particular Saturday. So which one takes your priority? Now, there's no crime if you tell your boss, oh, boss, no, I have an important, outing on that particular day. I promise my family I'll be doing this. And if you make that your priority, I'm sure your boss will also grant you. But if it is an emergency that comes from work and the date that you already set aside from your family is not going to work out, you need to let them understand and see how you can reschedule it. Okay. Second is that you need to take things slowly. Life can be so busy, so overwhelming that if you now start to rush over things, you realize that you are going to muddle up things. Just sit back, think about it, and enjoy life. Whether you like it or not, work will still continue after you. In fact, when you die, it's just for 1 day or 2 days in the office. They won't miss you after that because they'll get somebody else to replace you. But nobody can replace you in your family. So pay attention to little things that are coming from your family as well as the big things that are coming from your office. Your family matters. Now, thirdly is that don't get too comfortable with whatever you are doing. Whatever you are doing now, don't get too comfortable. And just know that the little you are doing, somebody is doing more than you. The much you are doing, another person is doing more than you. When I read this about an askar, where Salam said, 2 askar indeed. One is Subhanallah wa bihamdihi subhanallah al-azim. The other one is La ilaha illallah wa wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Salam said, if you recite 100 of this askar in a day, that on the day of judgment for that day, you are the best. On the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, you are the best. He said, the only person that will beat you, that will surpass you, that will get a higher grade than you, is the person who did that askar more than 100. So it means that if you do 100, another person now does 120, that person will be better than you. Another person does 150, that person will be better than you. Every day, these 2 askar determine who is better in the world in a day. So my point here is, whatever you are doing for your family, please don't get too comfortable. Try to stretch yourself and try to see how you can do more for your family. Because, especially as fathers, whatever we do now is what we are going to get the recompense, much later in life. By the time we are 70, we are 80, we are 90, I doubt if you are going to have any children living with you. Of course, no child will be living with you. Okay, except if they now decide that, no, we can't leave our father. Let's one of us live with our father and take care of him. If you are bad, if you don't have time for them, they won't have time for you. That is the truth. So don't get too comfortable. Go extra mile, stretch yourself and see what more you can do for your family. Then the fourth point is don't sweat the small stuff. There are some small things that makes small impact in your life. Don't spend too much time on them. Try to know what is a priority. But I must tell you, every other thing, apart from your health and your family, comes second. Even your work comes second. Now, small things you do for your family will go a long way. But the small things you do at work may not be appreciated. So my point here is there are some things that they are not going to give you great value later in life. Please try to ensure that you prioritize them. Learn to recognize the things that don't really have much impact in your life and allow them to go. And pay attention to the very big ones. Then make your life connect. Make things in your life connect to one another. Let your family life connect to your spiritual life. Let your family life connect to your work life. Let everything connect. Let your religious life, your society life connect to your family and connect to everything. Let your children know where you are working. Let them visit you at work. Let your wife visit you at work. Okay? Let them connect with people you associate with. Take them out and visit your friends. This gives them a lot of comfort, a lot of assurance that they know where you are, they know who you are associating with, they know what you are doing. This is a way to ensure that you are maintaining a good work-life and family balance. Then always try to be a man. Be in charge of your emotions, but don't suppress it too much. So that when you have to cry, you cry. You know, if you suppress it, it gives you a later challenge in future, you know. And there is nothing wrong as a man, you seek for help from your wife. As a wife, you seek help of your husband, or both of you seek professional help. And be your own voice of reasoning, because good things will happen to you in your life, bad things will happen to you in your life. Be your own first voice of reasoning. Be ready to counsel yourself and manage the situation. Be the first person to talk to yourself. And finally here is don't let things, go. Where you need to apologize, when you are wrong, please apologize. When you need to give compliments, please give the compliments. I assure you, if you do this, it is going to make you enjoy work and also enjoy friends, enjoy your relationship with people in organization, and also earn you a lot of respect at home. You need to give a lot of compliments and appreciate your wife, appreciate your husband, appreciate your children, even where you think you are not doing too badly. Finally, time management skill is something we need to know so that we can give quality time. At work, where you need to delegate, please delegate so that you don't put everything on your head. And where you need to multitask, always try to ensure that you multitask. And you can only multitask successfully if you have your to-do list beside you. While you are working on the paper, you can also take 1 minute to make a call to your parents or to your wife. You can also take 1 minute to talk to a friend, just to extend just for me to hear from you, and that is done. I used to do something in some few years back. Every Ramadan, I try to visit my extended families members, and anytime we come together, all of them will say I am the best. Owale me, he came to my house, he came to my house, he came to my house. It is just Ramadan. I use only Ramadan to do it. One day I visit somebody, I break fast with him, and if I just do that within 2 years, I'm able to cover all of them. It seems to them as if, this guy is very good. He comes to everybody's house, as if I come to their house every day. Before finally, reevaluate your standard. One must always reevaluate the standard of living and ensure that you are not doing more than what you earn. Is it possible to live with less and spend more time with your family rather than spending long hours at work and now doing multiple jobs and your family suffers? Look at the lifestyle of those who have look at the lifestyle of those who have less than you. Also look at the lifestyle of those who have more than you and they're able to manage things. Do not envy the lifestyle of those who have more than you. However, be contented with whatever Allah has given you. And finally is dua. We should not hesitate to always make dua for ourselves, make dua for your family members. The Quran says, وَالَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا, in the case of those who always say Rabbana ablana min azwajina wa zuriyatina qurrata ayun waj'alna muttaqina imama. They always pray for their wife, they pray for their children, and tell Allah what they wish for them. I also pray that Allah Azza wa Jalla will make this discussion beneficial to all of us. I thank you sincerely for the invitation and for your attention. Jazakumullah khair. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamu ala
al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Jazakumullah khairan for that lecture, and was perfectly delivered within the time we allocated to him. Thank you very much, Ustaz. Can you mute your mic for the moment? At the moment, we don't have any questions. So if we have any questions, can we put it in the Q&A section? And I'll be going through to see if anybody would want to ask their questions directly. So just use the hand raise function and I will get to you. It does seem like this lecture has given us just principles to work with, and looks like it's been well received by everybody. We'll just give a few seconds, see if there are any questions. If there are no questions, then we may be able to let Ustaz take his leave. Do we have any questions? Can our technical team, can we check on YouTube if you have any questions? It's just to say yes that this program is being live streamed on YouTube, so you could go to the Lasso Mega website page on YouTube, and you can go back and rewatch all of this series from the first one up to this one. Yeah, so we have one question coming in. So someone is asking for du'as for family, wife, and parents. Sisters.
No.
Yeah, so I think they're asking about du'as that we could make for our family and our parents.
Okay, so the dua we can always make for ourselves. We can always say Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim. It's just to say that all your efforts as a husband or as a wife, Allah should accept it from you. Then the one I mentioned that was on the slide, Rabbana abulana min azwajina wa zurriyatina qurrata ayun waj'alna muttaqina imama. That's what I can recall for now, but after a while I can search and send some dua on the chat.
Okay, yeah, so we don't have anyone who want to ask questions directly. Maybe we'll just give you a few more just for people to decide if they want to ask questions, and then we'll come to you. So we would then just go on to the other ones the other segment and come back to it if we have any questions. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And so at this point, I would want to introduce my co-moderator. She's Engineer Kafayat Arimiya Oyedeko. She's an assistant director with the Lagos State government, and she's going to take over with the engineering tips and the medical and the health tips. Engineer Kafaya, are you there? Engineer Kafaya, can you unmute your mic? Looks like she's having some technical issues at the moment. We'll come back to her. Okay, so we at this point we would want to, like I said, we've mentioned that we have sponsors for this lecture series. We have the Association of General Medical Association of Private and General Medical Practitioners, AGPMP, Lagos State chapter, who have sponsored our programs so far. We thank them very much. At this, so we then move on to the next segment. Just to check to make sure Dr. JJ is on the group. So yeah, while we wait for Dr. JJ to join the group, we would call on Engineer Kosim, Engineer Said Kosim. Is a vehicle inspection officer with the Lagos State government. He's going to be giving us engineering tips on how to make sure our vehicles are in very good conditions. Engineer Kosim, Said, can you please unmute your mic and share your screen if you want to? Ustaz Mugumiwa, can you just mute your mic so that we don't have any interference? Thank you very much. You have the floor, Engineer Kosim. Engineer Kosim, we can't hear you.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can you hear me?
Yes, please carry on.
Yes. Yeah, the topic before me today. So first of all, I must thank you for giving me the privilege to be with you this morning. So I thank God Almighty Allah for this. But the topic I want to present is on our vehicle. I mean the car we use. So what I want to focus the discussion on is about vehicle maintenance and inspection. As we all know that our vehicle is as our body. So the way we take care of our body, so also we have to take care our vehicle too, because this is important. This is important in the sense that if we neglect maintaining our vehicle, it causes a lot of breakdown on the road, thereby causing carnage on the road. So I must therefore give us the necessary. I want to use this medium to give us the tip on safety, because vehicle maintenance, the way it denotes is just a is the art of inspecting or testing the condition of our car. I mean, maybe servicing or replacing the worn out parts or changing the fluid. So to ensure safety, reliability, and comfort while we are driving. So we have to take notes of these 10 important tips. I mean the checklists. Number one is inspect and maintain our tires. So it is important for us, before we move out, we have to check our tires, knowing the tires that we use, because the tire is the only thing that keep us moving on the road. I mean, we have to get the good tires so that while driving, we won't have any breakdown. Then number two is we have to change our oil. I mean, changing the oil is paramount. And also, the number three one is to check our fluid. I mean, on the engine compartment, the engine and the compartment being embedded on it. So the fluid, is the oil that keep it working. If we don't check this on time, if we neglect doing this, there will be problem. So then our wiper, that's the number 4. We have to check our wiper. If we have a bad wiper, we have to change them. Then the lights, our lighting system, comprising the headlamp, the rear lights, the brake lights, and all what have you. So those lighting systems, they are very important, especially at night. So we have to check the bulb. To know which one is working and to know which one to change. So then another one is we have to do a regular checkup of our vehicle. That is the general checkup. The body of our vehicle have to be in good condition. Yeah, we can do this we can do it ourselves. There are some tips that we can do ourselves. I mean, the regular routine that we do ourselves in the morning before we move out. Maybe by changing the oil, if it's necessary, then the water level for the water, by putting what then there are some that we have to take to our mechanic or to our technicians that are involved. So another thing is to check our belts. So the belt is very, very important because if we neglect all what I've said above, our vehicle will not be long. Our vehicle will not last long, because neglecting maintenance, it means it's like neglecting our health. As I've earlier said, that it's like taking care of our health. So also we have to take care of our vehicle. So another thing is that this our vehicle is that there are some benefits that we can derive from maintaining our vehicle. Number one benefit is that it minimizes breakdown on the road. I've said it earlier on. Then number two, it keeps the vehicle in good condition, and the driver and we driving the vehicle. So we guarantee our safety. It guarantees our safety. Another benefit is that it reduces expenses, because carrying out daily routine, carrying out regular check on our vehicle will hands us less money. But unexpected when we neglect it, we incur unexpected expenses. So that is why it is important. For this, it is very, very important for us. It's the key. Very, very important for us to take care of our vehicle. For this reason only, that nobody pray for unexpected expenses. So I want to give us another thing. That's one benefit. That's the benefit. But I want to give us one thing that we expected to know about our vehicle that will assist us in maintaining the vehicle. Number one is the VIN. The VIN is the fingerprint of our vehicle. That is the VIN is also known as the chassis number. When you buy a new vehicle, the first thing to look out for is the VIN. That VIN is a 17-digit number. So that VIN will help you to know if in the course of maintenance, to know the type. Maybe you want to change the brake, or there is something, maybe is the brake pad or anything that need to be changed on the vehicle, because the vehicle comprises of both the mechanical and the electrical part. Maybe it's the electrical part that you want to change, anything. So the VIN will assist you to tell to tell them at where you want to purchase the item that are so, because the VIN only will tell you the history of the vehicle. So that is number one key. If you bought a vehicle, just go and check. You check. There is where we can check on our own. Maybe you go online, check for the you log into Auto DNA or FaxFin. It's a website that I'm giving out. So you can check. You check, it will bring out all the history of the vehicle, maybe the vehicle year, the model, the year of manufacture. So, and the year of manufacture is also on the vehicle, where you can check it on the seatbelt of the driver's side. Then even the chassis number, you can check it on it is boldly written on you can check it on the windscreen, on this windscreen side. So it is very, very important for us. This thing, the chassis number is a 17-digit number. It is very important for us to know the vehicle we are driving. It will help us. Once we know the history, anything that need to be changed, it will assist us in telling them, I need this part of this make, of this model. So that they will not give us the one that is not tally with our vehicle. So that is another key important something that I want us to know. Because under that vein, I told you, you will know the history of the vehicle you are driving. On the final note, I want to tell us that regarding inspection, once regarding inspection in Lagos State now, the Lagos State government through the Ministry of Transportation in the vehicle inspection service. So there, we have Lagos State computerized. We have Lagos State computerized vehicle inspection, where you can bring your vehicle, for test. Number one, the benefit of this is that number one is safety, and number two, your mechanic or what have you will not tell you what your vehicle did not need. I mean, will not exploit you. That's what I'm trying to say. Your mechanic will not exploit you anyhow. So how it works is that once it just takes 15 minutes. At least we have about 20 of it in Lagos State, where you can take your vehicle after you do your own check. Maybe you still find another, because it is very, very important you pay attention to your vehicle while driving, especially your brake. And once you notice any sound or anything and you are unable, maybe you take it to your mechanic or anybody or the person that's in charge, and the same thing still reoccur, you can bring your vehicle to those places for inspection. So once it is inspected, it will tell you the defects. And but before you can bring your vehicle, you have to have a valid roadworthiness certificate. That means before you can obtain that certificate, you have to bring the vehicle to that office. You will bring the vehicle down there, so they will inspect it. Once there is defect, it is that defect they will tell you to go and fix. Then you still have another time, maybe another time frame of a month. Once you fix it, you can you have an they will give you inspection report. That report, it is that report that you will bring back to that place, that so time I came, time I came, but this is what you asked me to fix. So, and I'll fix it. So the computer will test it again. Maybe that defect has been corrected or not. So maybe that defect has been corrected or not. That's the essence. Just to keep us in a safe mode. It is very, very important that our vehicle, our car, and this inspection can be carried out for private owners, can be carried out at any aside when you come for the certificate. You can anytime, once you notice anything that is strange, you can come over there, and that one you can come over there and complain. Then for commercial owner, it is 2 times, because
Engineer Kasim, are you rounding up?
Yeah, I'm trying to hand up.
Okay, yeah. Can we do maybe in like 1 or 2 minutes so we can get on the next speaker?
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Okay. On the final note, I will implore all of us to please, as we take good care of our health, we also take good care of our car, so that our vehicle will not break down on the road if we neglect maintenance. For this note, uh, I will conclude by saying the importance of this is, number one, it won't cost us much, then it increases our safety, both the driver and the vehicle, and so that everybody will be safe in the environment. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Engineer Said Kosim, for that enlightenment on taking care of our vehicles. I know some people would have questions to ask, but then we don't have that opportunity to ask those questions. But thank you very much. Can you please mute your mic? Dr. JJ Jamal is on here and is going to give you notes the health tips. Dr. Jamal, Dr. JJ, can you please unmute your mic? Dr. JJ. Dr. JJ, I can see you on here. Hello. I'm just, yeah, okay, yes, so yes. So you have the floor.
Hello, sir.
Hello, yeah,
Hello?
Dr. Jamal, hello, yes, please.
Okay, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. No, so
okay,
Engineer Kafat, I think you come in after Dr. JJ has had the health tips, and then you help us to conclude the program.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Can you hear me? Wa alaikum.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You can see that Dr. Jamal is a little bit busy at the moment, but then he's had to give us some time to discuss some health tips with us, so we appreciate his presence.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So, inshallah, we'll be talking about we will be having a short overview regarding COVID-19 and COVID vaccine. Then, one thing I want to also know is that we all know that COVID-19, we all know the history of COVID-19. Apart from that, there are new evidence, there are new theories that are coming up almost every day regarding COVID-19. Therefore, it is very important for us to keep ourselves updated. We are also aware that there's a second wave of COVID-19 almost everywhere in the world, making some of these countries actually shut down their borders and stuff like that. And in Nigeria, we are also aware that there is a lot of community transmission of this of coronavirus. That means we should be aware of every information that is available. That's why I thought that we should update ourselves regarding coronavirus. So yeah, I'm trying to share the slide I prepared here, but I will pass that across to us.
Okay. Admin, can we allow him to share his screen?
Okay. Just hold on, sir. Okay, sorry, sir. Just let me continue. I'll try to share it with us. Now, the first thing is that we all know that the origin of coronavirus is an RNA virus that affects both human and mammals generally, and presents with varieties of symptoms, which ranges from mild respiratory symptoms to severe respiratory symptoms, and at times someone might present with what we call, some might present with some gastrointestinal symptoms also. Okay, that being said, please just get this thing. Okay, that being said regarding coronavirus, now the latest updates regarding coronavirus has shown us that people presenting with mild symptoms of coronavirus actually presented with usually fever, cough. Most people don't even present with cough now, but we have this fever, we have fatigue, we have issue with loss of taste or stuff like that. Then you see people telling you, especially for health practitioners that have been treating people, you see people telling you that they've actually treated malaria and they are still feeling the same symptoms and stuff like that. So then when you try to talk to people that, okay, try to go for COVID screening, or you might be having COVID, just like all of us in Nigeria, we all know the next sentence will be God forbid and other stuff. God forbid, I don't have corona, I don't have stuff. But from my own personal experience and practice, those few people that actually agreed to do the COVID test, I can say 90% of them come out positive, and their complaints majorly was that loss of taste. They couldn't taste very well, maybe fatigue. Apart from that, there's no respiratory symptoms. There's nothing else. To buttress that again, they've actually been managing malaria for God knows when. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to get my slide there, but I don't know. I can't seem to get it here. My app is.
I think just continue as it's were. Even if you don't have the presentations, you can get it later.
Okay. I'm very sorry. Okay, no problem. Okay, now since we all know that there is a community transmission and it's okay to assume that anybody can have COVID-19 at this point. And most people actually come with basically the mild symptoms usually base, which are sometimes catarrh, cough, loss of taste, fatigue. These are basically the presentation of the mild symptoms. Anything more than this, when you start having maybe signs of pneumonia or signs of you can't breathe very well, you are breathing fast, and all those things, that moves you up to either moderate type of COVID or to the severe form of COVID. Now, that being said, it is actually also important that now that we know that a lot of people come down with the mild form of COVID-19, now what are we expected to do? Now, I want to focus majorly on the mild form of COVID-19 because that's what I think the majority of people come down with. Now, when we have this mild form of COVID-19, people tend to treat it as a form of malaria, and we see our governor, Sanwo-Olu, told us that COVID-19 should be ruled out in anybody coming down with those symptoms, even if they think they are having malaria, until proven otherwise. I can't remember the exact words he used. So, okay, so for mild infection, I want us to have the mindset that anybody can have COVID at this point. And the community transmission is more because most people are not actually following the protocol again. There's no social distancing. People are not putting on face masks. And the issue of overcrowding, transportation, parties, and all those things makes this community transmission worse. Now, if someone is having these symptoms, what should the person do? Now, the first thing is that at this point, I will encourage everyone to actually try as much as possible to go to the hospital when they're having any of the above symptoms. Now, the fact is that you are having mild symptoms and malaria has been ruled out, and you are told to actually go for a COVID screening, a COVID test. It is very, very important that we actually comply and do the test and know our status regarding COVID-19. The reason being that even though if you are young, usually, or you are asymptomatic, you might actually have elderly people at home, or even some of, even your wife or other people that have other comorbidities.
Dr. Jamal, are you still with us? Looks like he's having some technical difficulties with that. So while we wait for him to join us back or get back his internet, I will just add a little bit more based on my own background as a medical practitioner. I think the point he was trying to make at that point is to say that it's very important that if you've been feeling a lot very weak, you're not your appetite is not very okay, even if you don't have a fever, even if you don't have lots of sense of taste or smell, you need to go and get yourself checked. One very important thing that people then that tends to happen with people these days is that because this coronavirus affects the lungs, it means that the oxygen that we get in, which is 21%, is not enough to go around the body. Do we have Dr. Jamal back? Dr. Jamal, are you back? Okay, so he's not back. So
Yes, I'm back, sir. Sorry.
Okay, yes. So just I was just going to put an addition so you can continue from here. I was telling them about the low oxygen levels in the body and how the virus tends to make them feel a lot weaker than they are. So why it's important for them to have the oxygen levels checked to make sure it's not very low. You can continue.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the very much. So now, just like having, make sure that you are checked by a doctor. Now, it will be the doctor that classifies that as mild, moderate, or severe. Now, when you are going to do the test, it is now as part of the local protocol by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control for you to actually, for the ex practitioner to look at your clinical status to decide if you are fit for home management or not. Now, we know that home management or self-isolation is actually what is practicable at this point. Now, but however, there are a lot of things we need to check out if we want to do that. The first thing is that look, is the kind of apartment you stay. Now, if we can have a personal space for yourself, which is part of the criteria before the doctor will actually consider self-isolation and stuff. If you have your own personal space for yourself. Now, if you have a personal space for yourself, is it well aerated? Do you have your own personal kitchen? Do you have your own personal toilet? Do you have your own personal stuffs? And if you have an elderly at home, you have to take extra precaution as much as possible. Now, if all these criteria are being met, now these are the criteria on the side of the patient himself. Now, because the patient will need a carer, there's also a criteria that must be met on the part of the carer. That means the person in charge of the person that is sick. If home management is being instituted, Now, and also we should know that the patient who has no symptoms or mild symptoms should be on PPE as much as possible. Use your face mask, use your face shield, wash your hands regularly, and all those stuff. And this is going to be for a minimum of 10 to 14 days. Now, people ask a lot of questions that, am I supposed to use a drug? Now, using drugs based on protocols, again, the protocols keep changing, keep changing, keep changing. Now, it will be the doctor that will decide if you can use medication and the type of medication you are to use. You can't just use any medication. Any medication you are using, the the doctor will decide if you are fit for those medications. Because some people, like I have seen some people treating themselves with ivermectin and stuff like that. Even though ivermectin is the new COVID gold now, we all know that ivermectin have some side effects if you are pregnant and all those things. It has some contraindications. That's why even if you are using these medications, you should be followed up. You should follow up with the doctor and update the doctor as it's going. Now, for the person taking care of the patients, of the person with mild COVID symptoms, the person also should have his own PPE, like the face mask whenever he or she is coming in contact, face shield, also hand sanitizer and all those things as much as possible. And it is actually also encouraged for the household to do the COVID screening, or because of the financial implication, this is my personal thinking. I think the family member also should self-isolate, and if they are showing any symptoms, they should also try as much as possible to do the test. However, the ideal thing is to do the test. Once a household test positive, is encouraged that other people in the family also do the test so that they know their status and they get treated. The reason why I'm emphasizing on this is that COVID-19 is now really common around us. We can practically say almost everybody we all has been exposed. Now, I think the best form of management we can institute now is home management, just like it was stated in the NCDC materials. That's why I'm emphasizing, because some of us don't really know much about this criteria. If you're having moderate to severe symptoms, we know we have to go to the isolation center. We have to go to the accredited hospitals where they manage this kind of cases. But not all patients can go to those centers. So all those ones that are having mild symptoms or asymptomatic should will most likely be managed at home, and we need to have the vast knowledge of what is expected of us if you have somebody in our household that takes positive for this. Now, I don't know, before I move, just talk briefly on the vaccine. I don't know if you have any question.
Sorry, can you say that again?
And I said, before I move to the vaccine aspect, I don't know if you have any question.
No, so we don't take questions. So just carry on. Just carry on.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, and I think we want you
the
to round up in the next few minutes so that we don't overshoot our time too much.
Okay, sure. Now, for the vaccine, I've seen a lot of people actually saying all sorts about the vaccine, talking about the credibility of the vaccine, the side effects, and other stuff. It is actually normal for us to be skeptical, for us to criticize. It is part of us. But however, um, we should know that, okay, just let me summarize the slide. First, during the early phase of the pandemic, the world actually moved from the challenge of making having a reliable test. Then, when that was done, we moved to the stage of the vaccines, and the vaccines underwent clinical trials from stage 1, 2, 3, 4 before they have been approved. And however, most of the vaccines, the most common one, which are the Pfizer, the Oxford, AZ Oxford, and the Moderna, all these went through the clinical trials and they have been approved by the WHO for emergency use authorization. Emergency use authorization simply means they've underwent the basic safety principles of vaccines and they met the criteria. That means these vaccines can be used. And these vaccines have actually been approved. I think for the Pfizer has been approved in the UK, Canada, USA, then among others, I have a lot of vaccines here. Yeah, like in a chat, I will try to get the slide across to us. And also, there's a slide here showing why are people scared of taking vaccines. Now, it shows that this research was done in Germany in late 2020. That which is about 24% of people are scared, are not sure about the vaccine safety, which I think it corresponds to. Hello?
I think that somebody needs to mute themselves. Sorry, Engineer Mabudu, can you please mute yourself? Engineer Mabudu. Technical team, can we mute Engineer Mabudu? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I think everyone has been muted. Dr. Jabbar, you can unmute yourself again.
Okay, sir. That's about 24 really not sure about the vaccine safety. Now, I think in our environment, that should be up to, although there's no research in our environment, it should be up to like 40% of people are concerned about the vaccine safety. When you just stop people, are you willing to take the COVID-19 vaccine? They will tell you that they are not sure how safe it is and stuff like that. Why about 21% in this research done in Germany shows that people are concerned about the possible side effects. Now, being about the vaccine, being not sure about the vaccine safety is different from the possible side effects. People are willing to take it, but the issue is that they are concerned about the possible side effects, which is about 21%, and other people just reject vaccine for their own principle. That is about 11%. And cool. What I'm just trying to say is that there has been researches to address this problem of people, the problems people are having with taking vaccines. And I also have a short slide which shows the likely reactions people can have towards COVID vaccine, and which are divided into the mild form or the severe form and the appropriate management. Now, before we take any vaccine, you fill a form, they get your consent. Now, and they tell the likely side effects, and you'll be monitored. After taking the vaccine, you'll be monitored and to monitor your vital signs. If you're having any side effects or any symptoms, you should channel or call the appropriate authority to inform them. And you will also be lectured on the signs of the severe form of reactions, which increasing shock and all those things. The key of COVID-19 vaccine is similar to other vaccines that we have, the measles, the fire, tetanus. It's similar to them. So this is just to tell us that this vaccine has undergone a lot of clinical trials and it has been approved for use. So there's nothing really to be scared of. However, for Nigeria, I know the latest update was that our government is trying to produce their own local vaccine. I hope that will work out. But I'm not sure if they're also planning to get any of these vaccines. I heard it somewhere in the news that they are planning to get vaccine by February. However, we need to start educating ourselves. We need to start changing our orientation because a lot of people are actually dying from this disease. You just need to go to the isolation centers. You see people having the severe form. Because you are not having the severe form of this disease doesn't mean you can't transmit it to others, and those people can come down with serious adverse effect or with serious complication of coronavirus. So we need to start changing our orientation. We need to start letting people know. We need to give people the evidence that this thing has been tested, has been trusted, even though it's a new vaccine and some countries have been using it. We need to do our own research to see, okay, what is the latest about COVID-19?
Okay.
Then,
I think, yeah, Dr. Jamal, thank you very much. You've done a very good job. And I think one thing I would just add at this point is to say that for those of us who are outside the country where the vaccines are available and we are eligible to take it, this is a wake-up call to us. We should go ahead to take those vaccines because they are safe. I've had my own vaccine. I've had the first dose. Maybe I would start speaking, but this is even the Pfizer one. So it's safe. We need it at this time. We should go ahead and take it if it is offered in the countries where we have. We know it's in the UK, it's in the US, so we should go ahead and take those vaccines. I'll call on Engineer Kafaya to wrap up the remaining sections, which is the vote of thanks and the closing dua afterwards. Engineer Kafaya, please, can we have you?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. On behalf of the Lagos State College of Medicine and the Lasumega, I would like to welcome you all once again with the greatest greeting, which is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am Engineer Mia Kafaya. I will be the second moderator for the day. Sit back and enjoy the remaining parts of the program. Thank you, Dr. Jeje, for that excellent discussion. Really appreciate your contribution on the platform. So I would like to kindly unmute yourself, Dr. Jeje, please.
hello?
So, no, he needs to mute himself. I think he's muted. He needs to mute himself.
Okay. Do we have any question?
No, so we don't take questions. We just go on to the next ones because we time constraints as well.
Okay. So I would like to call on Alhaji Abdulgani Ujawando to give us the vote of thanks for the day.
So I think it looks like yeah. So we have a representative who will be giving us the vote of thanks. Yes.
Ayuka Maldin from LMA. Is he on the platform? Hello?
Yeah, he should be on the platform. If he's not there, can we call Dr. Kosim Akpino to give us the admin, please, can we unmute Dr. Kosim Akpino to give us the vote of thanks?
Dr. Kosim Akpino. Is he with us? Is he with us?
Yes, he's there. So admin just needs to unmute him.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right. On behalf of the LME chairman, Dr. Ismail Hamaldin, I would like to give you a vote of thanks. We'll first like to thank Almighty Allah for making this session possible for every one of us, and we pray that He extends our life to witness many more of this. Also, would like to extend our thanks to our lecturer, as is commonly said in Nigerian parlance, that this life no balance. Our lecturers have been able to make us realize that yes, definitely there can actually be balance in life, and we thank him for doing justice to that topic. Would also like to extend our appreciation to all of the panelists, the moderators, and the tip takers, both for the tech tips and the health tips. We thank everyone, and for those that have been part of the audience, we thank everyone all. And we pray that Allah spares our lives to witness many more of this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa Kasim, for that short vote of thank. We'd like to call on Mr. Engineer Masu Adelakun to give us a closing dua. Can you please unmute yourself?
Assalamu alaikum.
Masood Adelakun.
Assalamu alaikum. I'll be standing in for Engineer Adelakun for the opening prayer.
For the closing, yeah, carry on. Is that Engineer Barry?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, please carry on.
We thank Almighty Allah for giving us the opportunity to complete this session successfully. We thank him once again for the lecture delivered, and also we thank our lecturer for the good lecture. Also, we pray to Almighty Allah to accept this as a not of ibadah from us, and may He count us among the companions of paradise on the day of judgment. Allahumma taqabbal salatana, Allahumma taqabbal qiyamana, Allahumma taqabbal rukuhana, Allahumma taqabbal sujudana. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadi wa ala ali Muhammadi kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Wa barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamu ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Okay. Thank you very much. Engineer Kafaya, do we have any announcements?
Not yet. The only announcement we have now is for us to join the next webinar on the 13th February 2021, where Ustaz Abdul Razak Abdul Salam will be admonishing us on striking a balance between Islamic and Western knowledge. I hope you all enjoy the webinar. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think that's all. Thank you everyone for being
everyone. Okay.
Bye.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so that's it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.